Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Woman shot at St. Anne's party near US 25K, goal for flight out of Jamaica. A Jamaican-born woman has raised US $19,000 of a targeted US $25,000 for a medical flight home to San Diego in California, US, after she was shot during a party in Old Folly Discovery Bay, St. Anne on Boxing Day. Camille Carter-Jones and her husband Christy were on holiday in their homeland Jamaica when tragedy struck just after midnight on December 27. She was one of 5 people shot at an illegal party in the community. Camille was shot in the knee and thigh. After spending almost 5 days in the hospital, her right leg is immobile and is in a cast from the thigh to the ankle. This prevents her from taking a commercial flight back home to the US, Christy detailed. The two had started a campaign on the platform of GoFundMe to raise between US $20,000 and $25,000 for an air ambulance from Kingston, Jamaica to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Superintendent Dwight Powell, the chief of police for St. Anne, reported that the shooting was triggered by a dispute among patrons about 12:20 a.m. 2 people were shot dead in the incident. They have been identified as 23-year-old Tamara Kelly and 21-year-old Roger Linton, both of Discovery Bay. Christy recounted the horror of the incident in an interview with ABC 10 News. "We just heard a loud sound, bang, 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 bang," he said. "We were trying to escape. Everyone was trying to run towards where we are, like a stampede. I literally froze because I didn't know where the shots were coming from. When I looked towards her, I saw her fall. Next thing I know, she screamed, 'I got shot, I got shot.'" Christy and Camille's brother carried the U.S. Navy veteran to their car before rushing to the hospital. The St. Anne police are searching for the suspects behind the deadly shooting. Superintendent Police said the promoter of the event is under investigation and is likely to face charges. Leader of opposition Mark Golden has called for a strengthening of families as a means of building a stronger society.
Nevertheless, none of these institutions, whether individually or collectively, as vital as they are, can be a substitute for strong family life, because most of our lives are spent at home. Many of the problems facing us in Jamaica spring from weak family structures. We have too many people becoming parents without maturity and capacity to play that role effectively. Children are thereby deprived of the inestimable benefits of strong parenting, and this feeds through into the development of negative social behaviors, often from an early age. Poor educational outcomes and the high levels of domestic violence and violent crime that plague our society are, in large measure, the result of weak or failing family structures. These problems tend to be self-reinforcing as they feed into popular culture and become embedded in the images and messages pervading our various forms of cultural expression. Our society needs to continue to focus on building institutions and programs which support good parenting and strengthen families. The state must play a lead role, but it cannot do it alone. The churches, educational institutions at all levels, and non-governmental organizations must be included in these efforts if we are going to turn the tide towards achieving sustainable development based on social cohesion, with strong families as the bedrock of the society. Many families are brought closer together through prayer, especially during these challenging times, such as what we're living through right now with this pandemic. It is important that as we pray for Jamaica, we pray also for the families that together constitute our nation. I commend the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches for organizing this service, the second annual national service. May God continue to guide your ministry as you work towards healing families and healing the nation through prayer and service. Thank you. God bless you all.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness addressed crime, illegal firearms, and face-to-face learning while speaking at the National Day of Prayer at the Power of Faith Ministries International in Portmore, St. Catherine.
I want us to dismiss this thought out of hand that you can possess an illegal firearm to protect yourself. That must be dismissed. That cannot be a defense. We must get tough. We look at the issue of illegal weapons. Now, the society is so duplicitous in a way, trying to find the right word to convey the thought. There are people who don't want to see stronger penalties for the possession of illegal firearms because they believe that those measures will apply to persons who own firearms legally. If you see what I'm saying. So those persons who own firearms legally don't want to be caught in tougher penalties for illegal firearms. Want to make it absolutely clear. Jamaica does not have a significant crime problem with legal firearms. Meaning firearms that you went to the FLA, you did your interview, they did your background check, they determined that you're fit and proper, you went to training, and you have to relicense your firearm every year. Why? Because we know who has the gun. The gun is in a registry. If it is fired, if it is shot, we can trace back. So those people don't need to worry. That's not no target for you. What we have a problem with, and the society doesn't want to recognize it. For decades, guns have been allowed to come into our country in the barrel, in the Big Ben rice, in the soap powder box, wrap up in the clothes. In return, you make there is someone who is trying to stop it, and I have to wonder, are they in support of the criminals in the country? The 10-year-old didn't have to die. We are there so you don't hear. We put it in Westmoreland, the two brothers never had to die, man. We said we have to put in stronger measures for guns. And there are those people in Jamaica who turn them out on it. As if to say we must allow the criminals to have the guns. When you see me say what I said, because I'm a firm believer, I'm what you call pro-life. But when I say I would make an exception, the JDF intercepted a boat coming in from Haiti. We have intercepted many boats coming in from Haiti and from South American countries. When they intercept them, you know what they do? They throw off what they have into the water. So you're not likely to be able to get the guns. They throw it off. But this one we were able to recover 2 firearms. We are increasing our capacity to have domain control of our territorial waters. People wonder why we're spending all of this money. Because we have to stop the guns coming in. That's why we're putting the boats out here. And we're going to put more out here. constituency. Children are all over the place, running up and down, me as well they were in school. So we already have enough problems that we cannot continue to keep our children out of school as a shielding measure to control the pandemic. You heard what I said a while ago? So we take the children out of school as a means of shielding the population from a rapid spread of the virus. We cannot continue to do that any longer. So the children will have to go back to school, they will have to learn how to live with the virus. But you will have to structure your household differently. Because I want you to see the trade-off now. When everybody's under the stay-at-home order, your household is shielded because people aren't moving out that much. But when the household is required, or everybody goes back to work and everybody goes back to school, if there is an elderly person in your home or someone with comorbidities who is vulnerable, when parents return from work and children return from school, it is likely that they could take home the virus with them. And so, whilst the government will not be putting in this general shielding measure anymore, families must now figure out how they are going to shield and protect the vulnerable in their homes. You agree with that? So as you send your children out to school, you have to protect grandma.
Family wants answers after men posing as cops killed electrician. Family members of an electrician who was last month shot and killed at his Hanover home by assailants posing as police are still trying to come to grips with his gruesome killing. While speaking with reporters this week, the family issued an appeal to the police to leave no stones unturned during their investigation to bring the perpetrators of Carlton Mitchell's murder to justice. Mitchell, 48, was killed at his home in Horton Court, Lucy, Hanover on December 14, 2021. We want closure to the case. I don't know how the investigation is going or anything. I live abroad and I try to find out as much as possible to what could happen and try to hear something, but everything is a stalemate, a relative reported. He was a very upstanding person. He worked hard. He always keeps his head up. He was not a troublemaker. He's not anybody who gets into trouble and somebody went there and took his life. It is so sad, the relative said. Reports from the police are that about 4:50 a.m. on December 14, Mitchell was at home when armed men who identified themselves as police demanded that he open the door and let them in. When their demands were not met, they shot Mitchell through a window. Upon the arrival of the police, who were alerted by residents, the wounded electrician was found and taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was loved by people in the surrounding areas. He did a lot of work for Lucy also because of his personality and how he used to work and try to help as much as possible, said another relative. It is very shocking to hear what actually transpired with him, so it's very heartbreaking for us. Mitchell was known by everyone as a peaceful person, the relative insisted. We don't know of any reason why anybody would want to kill him. He was friendly, the relative said. The police are reported the following strong leads in the case. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.